basic accounting terms. Okay, chapter number 2. So सबसे पहले हमने पढ़ा था entity. What is an entity? Entity is an economic unit which may be business activity, which may be business entity or a non-business entity. So any business entity which is started to earn profit, that is called business entity. But those entities which are not for profit, like charitable organization, like non-for-profit organization, those are also entities. So entity is an economic unit which may be a business entity or a non-business entity, right? Then the second one is business transaction. So business transaction means a financial transaction or an economic event entered into by the two parties that initiate the accounting process of recording it in the books of account. So any economic transaction, any financial transaction between two parties, that is called as business transaction. See, for example, Amrit sold goods to for rupees 10,000 to Pawan. So Amrit is selling goods to Pawan. So Amrit is the seller and Pawan is the buyer. So there are two parties and there is a financial transaction of rupees 10,000. So there are certain characteristics of business transaction. So it has a financial value. It is supported by source document. Source document is like evidence of any transaction, like a bill. When you buy a product from the market, so the vendor will give you a bill. So that is a source document. If I am a tenant and I am paying rent, so the landlord is giving me a receipt of the rent paid. When you pay the fees, the one who collects the fees, he give you receipt. So that is a evidence, source document. So a financial transaction should have a value. It is supported by a source document and it brings a change in the financial position. It brings a change in the financial position. जो बायर है जो सेलर है दो पार्टीज हैं इनके फाइनेंशियल पोजीशन में चेंज आता है ठीक है इनके एसेट्स एंड लाइबिलिटीज में चेंज आता है राइट इफ नाउ आई एम अ बायर ऑफ फर्नीचर एंड व्हेन आई बाय फर्नीचर my financial position changes, my asset increases, and my cash or bank balance goes down. So there is a change in their financial position. Then it has an effect on the accounting equation. Now, what is accounting equation? Accounting equation is equal to capital is equal to assets minus outside liabilities. All financial transaction, or you can say every financial transaction will pass through this test. This will pass through this test. What is that test? That every transaction will give you two sides. Assets is equal to capital plus liabilities. Assets is equal to capital plus liability. That we will study in the later chapter number 5. Okay. Then the last is that the business transaction has dual aspect. Dual aspect is the double effect, right? One effect is called as the debit effect, and the other effect is called as a credit effect. So how that is affected, that you will learn in the chapter which is coming. That is rules of debit and credit. Okay. Then we studied about account. What is an account? The account is a head where you get the information about a particular transaction. Account is a head. It is a head. It is a place. It is a classification where you get a information about a particular item. Like for example, it is a record of transaction, both cash or credit, under a particular head of account, like sales account, purchase account, salaries account, telephone expenses account, electricity expenses account. These are all my heads where we I will get the information about a particular transaction. Okay. Then we studied about capital. Capital is the owner claim of the owners, claim of the owners in the business. Simply, capital is the amount contributed by the owners in the business. जो पैसा बिजनेस के ओनर्स बिजनेस में लगाते हैं बिजनेस को शुरू करने के लिए उसको कैपिटल बोलते हैं. Now, in case of company, the contributors of capital are many because the company is a association of persons, right? So, in a company, there are many people who contribute capital, and those persons are called as shareholders. They are the shareholders of the company. And capital is also known as owner's equity or net worth. So this is an important sentence. Capital is also known as owner's equity or net worth. Then the next term is drawings. What is drawings? The amount गुड्स और एसेट्स टेकन बाय द प्रोप्राइटर फॉर पर्सनल यूज। जो पैसा प्रोप्राइटर बिजनेस का अपने पर्सनल यूज के लिए विड्रॉ करता है। इट कैन बी मनी, इट कैन बी एनी एसेट्स, राइट, इट कैन बी एनी गुड्स। ठीक है, एसेट्स आर द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ द बिजनेस। एसेट्स आर द प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ द बिजनेस। What are goods? Goods are the items in which the businessman deals. A mobile vendor is dealing in various types of mobile chargers. So the mobile for him is a good, right? So drawing is the amount or the goods that is withdrawn by the proprietor for the personal use. Similarly, when I say liabilities, liabilities means the amount payable by the business. The amount payable by the business. Liability towards the owners is termed as internal liability, and liability towards the outsiders is termed as external liability, right? Liability towards the owners is called as internal liability. So capital is also a liability for the business. Capital is also a liability for the business, right? It is an internal liability. Likewise, when I take loan from the bank, it is a external liability, right? So liability is the amount payable by the business. Okay. Now we studied that liabilities can be classified into various types: non-current liabilities, current liabilities. These are the two classification of liabilities. Non-current liabilities means liabilities which is payable after 12 months from the date of the balance sheet. After 12 months from the date of the balance sheet, that is non-current liabilities. Whereas current liabilities are those liabilities which is payable within 12 months. Within 12 months, something the company will have to pay within 12 months. ठीक है, एक एंटिटी को, बिजनेस को 12 मंथ्स के अंदर अंदर जो पैसा रिटर्न करना पड़ता है उसको हम करंट लाइबिलिटीज बोलते हैं, राइट? देखो, फॉर एग्जांपल, ए फर्म हैज टेकन अ लोन फ्रॉम द बैंक ऑन 1st ऑफ सितंबर 2021. तो 1 सितंबर 2021 को हमने लोन लिया एंड इट इज पेएबल बाय 31st ऑफ अगस्त 2022. It is payable by 31st of August 2022. So it is a current liability because it is payable within 12 months. So anything that you have to pay within 12 months is your current liability, right? Similarly, when you have to pay after 12 months, like for example, a firm has taken a loan from the bank from purchase of machinery on 1st of October 2021, and the loan is payable in 5 yearly installments. So you have to pay in 5 years. So that means the liability is payable after 12 months, and that is why it is called as a non-current liabilities, right?